Hey everyone, welcome to Data Millennials. I'm Atul, and in this video we are going to discuss about logarithmic and power function from math module. Power functions can be expressed as x to the power n, where n is the power of x, whereas the logarithmic functions are considered as the inverse of exponential functions. So let's talk about the power of exponential first. So we have this exp function. So this exp is nothing but exponential method which is used to calculate the power of e, or we can say that the exponential of a number, and the syntax is simply math.exp, and you would have given an argument which is y. So y is the required parameter and it is any valid Python number, either positive or negative. You just have to note that if y has any other value than number, then it will return a error. This function math.exp will return the floating point number by calculating e to the power y. So let's write a simple code that imports the math module and then calculate and print the exponential value of three different input. The first one is integer, negative integer, and a float. Okay, so what I'm going to do is that I'm going to import the math module. Then let's say that I have a test integer value where I have value as 4. Then I have test negative integer equal to minus 3. Then I have a floating value, so test float equal to 0.00. Okay, now if I want to get exponential for all of these three value, I'll simply have to use math.exp. So I'll simply write math.exp for this test integer, and I'll give it as an argument over here. Let me copy this and paste it over here. Then I'll take this negative value and give as an argument. Similarly, I'll take this float value and give it as an argument. Now if I run it, you can see that we have the exponential value for 4 as 54.59. For minus 3 we have 0.049787, and for 0, which is float 0.00, we have the exponential value as 1.0. Now let's move on to the next function, which is power function. So the power function computes x to the power of y, and this function first converts its argument into float and then computes the power. So let's take a simple example. Okay, so let's say that I have two value, variable 1 equal to 3 and variable 2 equal to 4. Now if I print power of 3 comma 4, and if I run it, you can see that we have 81, and we are getting the value as 81 because this power function calculate the value of 3 raised to the power of 4 using this function and prints the result to our console. Now let's talk about the logarithmic function. So we have three type of logarithmic function in Python. The first one is log, then we have log2, and the last one is log10. So if we talk about this log, then this log function returns the logarithmic value of the argument a with a base b, and if the base has not been mentioned, then it will compute the value as a natural log. Now if we talk about log2 to the base a, then this log2 function computes value of log with a base 2. This value is more accurate than the value of function discussed earlier, which is log a. The last one is log10. This function computes the log with a base 10, and this value is more accurate than the value of both of these two, log and log2. So let's write a simple code that will show us how we can use these three functions. Okay, so let's say if I have to calculate the value of log 2 with base 3, in that case I can simply say print math.log 2 to the base 3, and if I run it, okay, let me comment it out, and if I run it, you can see that we are getting the value as 0.6309, right? Similarly, if we want to calculate the value of log 2 of 16, in that case I can put math.log 2, and then I can put 16 over here as the argument, and if I run it, we are getting 4. Now the last one, log 10. If we want to calculate the value of log 10 of 10,000, then what would be the output? So let me write it, print math.log 10, and within bracket I'll give 10,000 as output, and if I run it, we are getting 4. So as we have seen the logarithmic function, the power function, and the exponential function, let's talk about one more common function which is present in the math module, that is a square root. So the square root function returns the square root of a number, and we can use this function directly in order to calculate or return the square root of a given number. So let's say that if you want to calculate the square root of 0, then you simply have to say print math dot square root of 0. Let me copy this and let me comment it out, and let's run this cell. So we are getting 0 0.0 as a square root. What if I want to calculate the square root of 4? It should be 2, and when we run this, we can see that the output that we're getting is 2. Similarly, if we want to calculate the square root of, let's say, 3.5, so we are getting 1.870. So this was a simple example that how you can use the logarithmic function and the power function from math module in Python. Happy learning and see you in the next video.